any person that is highly intuitive and empathic and intelligent as myself, I think at times we tend to hide our own lights in a way to appease or in a sense fit in because we're in our head so much, or we think consistently about things and observe things so much to where, I mean, if not checked or not having a strong inner circle, it can become monotonous and it can become detrimental in a sense if we're not cognizant of what we're thinking about, what we're focusing on. Um, well, which I believe now that the the capacity for myself to really go to those dark places and pull myself out of it, I think it has birthed a lot of my creativity as an artist and as a man because as a kid when I was first moving from San Diego to Santa Clarita, I was afraid, and I used poetry and I used music as a way to escape. I think um, artists such as like John Bellion or you know John Mayer, uh, Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, all these. I mean, Logic, Big Crit, all these artists that are just dope beyond belief in my eyes help me to just find peace in the loneliness. Knowing that like from their stories that I'm not necessarily alone. I think a lot of times my brain tries to tell me at times that like I am alone, that I'm the only one that's feeling these things or have these depression bouts and that I'll never get out of it. And to have other people that I've never even met before, I will meet, I'll speak that into existence, I will meet and work with, it becomes I think the most beautiful thing in the world. I think music is the universal language. I think that to be human and be in tune with the rhythm of life is music. I think everything has a certain rhythm and cadence and song to it, and I think ultimately each person is, a instrument player. We play with the instruments of our stories and our lives and our different hues of personality and textures of where we've come from and how we've come out of things and who we've impacted along the journey. I think harmonizes with the big symphony of what I call life. I think music is life and life is music. I think it's a trip to me to think of artists that can travel around the world and people don't even speak the language in other countries, but they're still able to resonate with it. And so I think ultimately, just to bring it full circle with the move, it's something that I'm I'm truly excited to step into. Now I am. I think now that I'm allowing the process of embracing it, because of course initially it's just like fudge, like I don't want to move, like if ideally if I didn't have to, or not in the perfect sense, which is it's funny because it never is the perfect time to do anything. I you think I would have learned that, but hey, I'm human and I'm embracing the process and unfoldment of who I am as a man. And as I step back and think to, who I was at 18, who I was at 20, 21, 22, 20, like it's completely night and day. And of course, I still have things that I'm working on. I think I always will have things that I'm working on as a man, but I think just embracing just the moment of it and realizing that like I'm gonna be okay regardless because I've been through quite literally hell and back. Um, it gives me faith. It gives me hope that some way, somehow, it's me and God are gonna figure this out, And I think even with the current climate of things going on, it's just like I think now more than ever is the perfect time to just really be introspective and really think about, the presence of how we're showing up in the world and showing up for ourselves and showing up for our family. But I think at the forefront of that is showing up for ourselves first, because growing up, we're raised to think to it's two conflicting things of like, be selfish and climb the corporate ladder and gimme, take, as the late great Tupac Shakur would say in this amazing interview. But also, don't be too selfish and don't be too confident. And so it's just like that fine balance is challenging, and there's not very many clear, distinct molds of what that really looks like, what it looks like to really live a balanced life and not be projected as perfect all the time on social media. People, I think it was my life coach that shared this on one of his talks that he gave of people always share they're getting married, but they never share the post of, hey, we're going to marriage counseling, because that's not a popular post, but like that's real. Like that's what's gonna really help. That I mean, yes, the getting in union with another person and having a ceremony, getting the ring, of course, all that is important. But like I think that just the groundwork and the grind of, all right, let's do the work and do the hard work and dig up old beliefs and old. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It's you're gonna cry, but I think at the end of the day, it's worth it, because I think if we lose the capacity to feel, I think we lose the capacity to be human. Honestly, I think we are feeling beings in general. It's funny because even in the word human, I see hue, which is a certain um, pigment or a radiance of a color. And I think we're all different colors in a spectrum of how bright or how dark we shine as a people. And I think ultimately with all of that is it should be a way for us to all think and love in union of the bigger picture of, all right, well, if I share my story and I am vulnerable, maybe somehow, some way, I can liberate somebody else. I truly believe that, each of our stories and breakthroughs aren't for us. I truly believe that, because I think there's so many times and so many stories and people that I've listened to, from Les Brown and Jim Rohn and Eric Thomas and um, amazing artists of different generations, that if I wouldn't have heard their story at crucial times in my life, I can honestly say I probably wouldn't be here today sharing my heart. And so I say all that to say, don't be afraid to just share your light and share your heart on things, because who knows? I think Tupac said it too. Yeah, I think Tupac said it too. Of just like, I want to keep to inspire the next generation to be the next, Martin Luther King. And I took that to heart. I remember watching the interview, and I remember even Kanye saying, I'm gonna be that guy, but I want to be alive to see it. And I do too. I definitely do too. I think that's my MO when it comes to music.